Okay, hey everybody. I want to tell you about what the stop and knock that I had yesterday, and it involved me and Kyler here because the police were wondering if we were pedophiles because of our posts on Fedbook, which we talk about stuff that's in the news, pedophilia, the and I told the police there's a big difference between pedophilia and child rape. Now, which were they talking about? And they really didn't give me that much of it was like, well, we're here for because we're here, and we need to talk to you about somebody reported you on Fedbook for a post, and it's like, really? So now we got thought police. And they said they seen that I were have an Infowars sticker on my front door, and they're like, "Oh, is that what you do?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do the same damn thing. I'm a reporter. I report the news." And there is a big difference between pedophilia and child rape, which we covered on the radio. I believe it was that night after we were discussing it, and we keep discussing this because it needs to be discussed, and people need to hear the truth. And pedophilia is a clinical term, and child rape is a crime, and there is a distinct difference between the two, and there's a distinct difference between lusting after something and acting upon that lust and committing a crime and doing other things like I told the police. And you know I can understand why the police were at my house because they got a report they have to investigate. But why were they really here? you know and have you had any problems with anybody lately?
Yes, I'd rather not discuss exactly what yet, but yes. And I know that they're watching our profile. I know that they've picked us out of the crowd, as they have many thousands, hundreds of thousands. I know that we are on a watch list. I know that for a fact.
Obviously.
And I know that they are scrutinizing everything that we do, including most of our shows are being monitored. And in my case, I posted multiple university studies that dealt with men lusting after kids 12 years old and up being normal.
Hmm.
Several university studies, and I've had personal testimony from men and women, both on air and off, that say it's normal for men to lust after kids 12 years old and up. Now, a lot of people just throw up their arms and go crazy when they hear that. They go completely berserk when they hear that. But that is a reality. I had a lady tell me yesterday, and a man, that 100 years ago it wasn't nothing for a 70-year-old man to marry a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah. I mean, back in colonial days, it was, if you were 13 and you weren't married, you were an old maid. So, the times have changed. And like I told them, it all depends on where you're at in the world because overseas they can pose at 8, 9, 10, 16 years old. But if they come over here and with the same pictures as child porn, and now
Right.
it dictates by society what the norm is. And like you said, I mean, we were going over several studies that say it's normal, and if pedophilia is normal, then it shouldn't be a crime. But child rape, yes, that should be a crime. And there is a big difference between pedophilia and child rape.
There's
Now,
also there's also a difference, and people don't want to hear this. We're probably going to get in trouble again. There is a difference in touching and feeling and licking than there is fingering and inserting a penis.
yeah, exactly. And like I told the police, Clint,
And these people shouldn't all be lumped together in prison together. The touchers and the feelers, the experimenters, are put in the same cell with the rapist.
yeah, and they use
And
the term pedophilia to cover the whole thing. much like Gwen Towers, which the Gwen Tower wasn't every single cell phone tower, but now every single cell phone tower is a Gwen Tower because they just found this new word and made it, you know. You mentioned.
And you know, you and I are going to get in a lot of trouble for this show.
Always. We always do.
I mean, with our fans.
Yes, we always do.
Fans are going to turn it off.
That's fine. They can turn it off. They don't want to hear the truth. I can't help them. I can lead them to the knowledge. I'm writing an article about it too, and I'm going to post several of the clinical studies that say, you know, pedophilia is a norm. Everybody thinks about, you know, we're dealing with thought crimes.
Women are involved in this too.
Yeah, women and men. It's universal, and thinking about something is totally different than going out and committing the act. I mean, and Congress has ruled that viewing child pornography online is not a crime, but downloading it to your computer and distributing it is.
Right.
So, and they go, well, what do you think about viewing child porn? And it's like, I don't do it. Unless somebody tells me, hey, I found this thing, is this child porn? And I'll go look, and if it is, I report it. You know, what you're supposed to do, and they frown upon that. But you know, but yet they don't frown upon.
I'm aghast at how you can type in young Asian sexy girls.
Oh yeah, I mean there are
9 and 10-year-olds.
There are quite a few different terms you can type in. I'm not going to go over them because
millions of sites.
Yeah.
Literally hundreds of thousands, not millions. Hundreds of thousands of these sites are out there that the police aren't messing with at all.
And they're not going after the Pentagon and the 5,000 computers and 200 and some employees that download it. They don't worry about that. But I don't do it. Somebody says I did, and they're up my butt going, well, you're a pedophile. And it's like, prove it. Proof that I am.
For maybe 2.5 minutes.
Huh?
I viewed it for maybe 2.5 minutes to see if it was real.
Yeah, I mean, I got, if you report, because people go, oh, it's child porn and it's a little girl in a bikini. And, because, oh, well, she was posed a certain way and I didn't like it. And I didn't like the person photographing it. So therefore it's child porn and I'll report it. And, that clogs up the system for the real shit. Like if you're raping a kid out in your front yard, yeah, I expect you to call the police and have something done about it. But if you're in in your bedroom where nobody is, how are they going to fucking know?
Right.
Then they and this see something, say something, and I brought this up to the police. It gets around a lot of the fucking shit that I can't do as press. I can't go photograph you through your backyard window and use that as evidence because it's illegal. But somebody on the street can do that and tell the police, and they're up your butt in a heartbeat, which is fucking illegal. And yes, it is against the law. It is a violation of my rights. And, they're like, oh, well, you're not in any trouble. Then what the hell were you here for?
They shouldn't have came. I talked to some legal counsel. They should not have came over a Facebook post.
Yes. I mean, what they came over is like, unless somebody is pushing an agenda. And, I do have enemies. I made a lot of enemies because I've stood up for shit. And I've been against people and said, no, you're wrong. And, I do have police that watch me. And I'm not sure they're not watching me now and monitoring my computer for some of the stuff they said.
Very surprised they didn't confiscate your computers. But, of course, this was a minor...
Yeah, this was so insignificant.
The attorney said this was a minor, insignificant...
Yeah, this was a stop and knock. We're going to stop and knock and let you know that some little ass punk motherfucker that can't comprehend what we were saying got their panties in an uproar and had to report us to the police. And they probably don't even know who the fuck I am.
Right.
And if that's all, I can't get, and I asked the police, I said, I've been trying to get a hold of Internal Affairs. How do I get a hold of Internal Affairs? I have evidence that the police have broken the law. Who do you call on the police? I'm calling Internal Affairs. I never got a hold of them. And they're like, oh, we can have you, And I understand your place in the food chain. You're so far down by what I'm dealing with that, you're just here, and I understand your position. I'm not against the police, and I told him this. I'm not against the individual police officer. I'm not against them. I'm not against the police in general. I'm against the fucking police state that is coming in, and this, the UN sanctuary cities and Strong Cities Initiative. Yes, I'm totally against all that bullshit because.
Did you happen to see the video on the Safe Schools Initiative yesterday with the woman from
a little
Berkshire?
A little bit. I didn't get all of it.
Well, you shouldn't have looked a little bit. You should have looked a lot. Safe Schools Initiative sounds really sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, like Safe Cities Initiative, Strong Cities Initiative.
Safe Schools Initiative is run by, I guess you could say pedophiles, and I guess you could say gender different people, 56 genders. Okay,
yeah, gender fluid
by
people.
56 genders. They're showing kids dildos.
Yeah, okay, that's part of the, where they're showing them dildos, how to get
teaching them how to use dildos on each other.
How to get blowjobs. Well, it starts in kindergarten.
Jobs and how to do anal sex at 13 in our public schools.
Yeah, and then they come knock on my door and say, "Hey, you posted on Fed."
Why don't they go to the school and knock on their door?
Right, exactly. Why don't they take care of the problem at the source?
You and I have the addresses of the schools that are doing this. Why don't they go to them and arrest them? If you and I were showing kids in your home dildos and teaching them the local neighborhood kids, how to use dildos and how to use cream and anal sex, do you know where you and I would be tomorrow?
Not even tomorrow. It would be today, mate. Yeah, we'd be under the jail.
You know where we would be?
Mm-hmm.
We would be underneath the jail.
Yeah, because we're not part of the system that's bringing it in. Yeah.
Now, why is it okay for the system to bring it in?
Exactly. I mean, I kind of alluded to that to them. It's like I started talking to them, and they're like, and then I started mentioning some things, and they're like, well, what's FedBook? So I explained why I call it FedBook, and it's like, well, it's FBI, CIA run. Of course I call it FedBook. It's a spy program, and they're like, oh. We're not here for that. I'm like, no, you're not here for that. You're here to bust my chops about something that doesn't make any goddamn difference because I'm reporting news and somebody didn't like it, so they had you up my ass. And that's all it amounted to. And I'm going to follow up with the police and the detective. I want a report number. I want the file. And they had a file about a quarter-inch thick on me for this incident, which is kind of like, and I asked them, well, let me see the conversation.
They had your full dossier and your full criminal record under their arm.
But I don't have that much. I don't have hardly. I don't have a criminal record. So, but yeah.
Well,
anyway,
whatever.
They had a file on me. Yeah.
Report.
And it's like I want I want a copy of it. I want to see what the. I want to see the conversation that brought this about, because I think I remembered it was you and me talking about it, and then we went on air that night and discussed it more.
Right.
And and somebody takes a little bit and we'll make up something and we'll get the cops in on him and ha 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 ha, and here come the cops, but yet serious crimes are being committed. And where are the cops? You can't find them. I can't get them.
Serious crimes are being committed by the public school system.
Right.
And the kindergartens are doing this.
Yeah. According to this new curriculum.
They're pushing multiple gender agendas.
Yeah, and people can choose. The same kids that can't choose their bedtime can decide what sex they want to be. I mean,
I think you and I should do some more research into what we just talked about and put that out for people to know and be educated about the Safe School Initiative and the kindergartens, what they're doing with the genders, pushing the gender agenda. multiple gender agendas.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, is it 5,800, whatever they, it's whatever you feel at the moment. If you feel like you're chocolate ice cream, you're chocolate ice cream. It's
Now they tell me that children are going to be ostracized if they're male or female in the next couple of years.
yeah, it won't be natural anymore. You have to be fluid
56.
gender.
You have to be one of the 56 or 75 genders. You're not
Yeah.
going to be normal anymore if you're male or female.
Yeah, you have to choose between. Oh, you get a choice. Oh, yeah.
Right.
And we're all, and they wonder why we're fucked up in this society.
And where in the hell are the cops on this issue?
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is going to do? This is going to increase pedophilia and homosexuality. This
Yeah.
is going to increase sex crimes.
Oh yeah, and they come against us, going knocking on our door. You got a problem? Somebody said you said something. Well, meanwhile, there are people being raped, and then when I brought up Craig Ferguson and Charles Church, the officer, both of them being arrested for having being child rapists, both of them, they kind of the situation kind of turned then, and they're like, yeah, well, it's like, yeah, I've had a conversation with all these people. I've had interaction with all of them, been told by Charles Church, I'm not allowed to photograph crime and children breaking the law in public because they're children and I'm a pedophile. And then he gets arrested for raping a 15-year-old underage girl, and Craig Ferguson the same thing. And I can't get any of my records. What about them? What about the police doing this shit? What about DSS doing this shit? Do you go after them? No, you come after me and tell me to behave. I am behaving. I'm reporting on it. And because I report on it, because I am vocal, yeah, all somebody has to do, well, he's a pedophile. Go get him. Okay, here come the police. Ah!
Well, as vocal as you and I are, we're going to be at risk. Always.
Always. I got a big target painted on my back. I know what my role is.
You and I are so outspoken about issues that are tough to talk about. We're going to be a target. So we just have to, like you said, get used to it.
Yeah, get a thick skin. I'm used to it. Like I said, I understand the situation. I understand why the police were here. I do not understand why the police were here. I understand they had a report and they had a follow-up on the report and they were doing their job. I understand that. But if you look at it, really look at it, it was a Facebook post. Somebody said something on the internet and I didn't like it, so I'm going to call the police and have them arrested for it. And that's what our society has turned into.
If they thought you were really guilty of something, they would have confiscated your computers and came with.
Well, like I told them, I said if I was, they kept reiterating, you're not in any trouble. I said no. If I was in fucking trouble, you would have a warrant with you, and if I was in any trouble, you wouldn't be here talking to me like you are. You're just gathering information right now, but and you have no warrant, so no, you're not going to arrest me. It wasn't, oh my God, they're here to arrest me. They have a warrant. It was, knock on the door. And
they have to have more than just probable cause to make that kind of arrest.
Yeah. Well, they did in the first time.
Innuendo, more than innuendo.
They did in the first time. They did in the first time that I had CPS up my ass, and my kid interrogated in school illegally. They had no warrant, and they broke the law all the way around. Now, when you try to hold the law against them because they broke it, it's a different story. Don't worry about it. Move on. But you didn't break the law. They're up your ass with a fine-tooth comb wondering what the hell you're doing. And the person that reported it needs to be looked into very hard.
I agree.
I'm getting tired of this. People can make false reports, which is against the law, and nothing gets done to them. It's like, don't worry about it. Oh, there was no problem. You didn't get arrested. We didn't charge you. Don't worry about it. No, you violated my rights. Now go violate that person's rights that reported me. You know? Why isn't there reciprocal? If somebody makes a false report, there should be a way to... I don't even know the words. So my brain is racked right now.
Well,
there should be reciprocal, you
The
know?
whole fact is, they are now coming after people for Facebook responses,
Yes.
and Facebook text, and Facebook posts.
I mean,
and
that was
Facebook
proof
videos.
positive. That was proof positive that they're doing it.
I have proof positive also.
Yeah.
They are doing it now.
And yes, people, they are
realize
monitoring me and they are watching me. Obviously, if I'm doing a video about them being in my front door, there's something going on. Telling me that nothing is going on and that I don't know what I'm talking about, but yet I'm constantly dealing with them. You know, and I told them, I gave them my history, and they're like, we picked the wrong person. We should just run away. And that's what they did, and hey, that's fine. I got their business card. I know where they live. I'll contact them soon. Because I did tell them I want internal affairs. I want to get a hold of internal affairs with all the stuff I've got. Yes, I want the police investigated. You know, this is ridiculous. All somebody has to do is make up a story, and you're up my ass, but I have evidence and video and photographs and everything, and I can't get any goddamn thing done. You know, you're doing your job. Well, do your job. I reported it. Take care of it. I mean, I shouldn't have to go to 1,000 different precincts to get one thing done when all somebody has to do is make a false report, and I got 1,000 police up my ass. I mean, it's all fucked up in the society anymore. It makes me want to be a bad guy, you know. You may as well be like, well, if they're just going to keep fucking with me,
Yeah.
I may as well do something bad and then I get away with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. But that's the society we live in. And I just happen to be the one that takes a lot of the heat. And I don't have to leave my house. I was in my house. They came in to bug me. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not so sure that my computer isn't still fucking hacked, because I've got a lot of things on my computer right now that shouldn't be on there. So I'm going to have to reset and reinstall the operating system.
Did you let them in your house?
No, hell no. They didn't have a warrant. I opened the door. I said, yeah, and they said, we're the police. I said, hold on a second. And I stepped outside and shut the door. And I said, okay, now we can talk. They weren't here to come in my house. They had no reason to be in my house. They had no warrant. They had nothing to get them in the door. And they didn't hand their gun like the other motherfucker did with the CPS. So
Yeah.
it was totally different than the last time, but it was also, I live in a totally different neighborhood, and looks have a lot to do with it. You know, if you're in a low rundown neighborhood, they're going to treat you one way, and you're in a little upscale neighborhood, they treat you a different way. And,
Right.
you know, and this time it was different because we don't want to bug you, and we don't, you know, it's like, yeah, but you're still here. You know, you don't want to bug me, but you're here bugging me. Now, over at when I lived at Chocatuck, they would have kicked in the front door. It's just the area, and, you know, and it's only a mile difference. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, it's a crazy life we lead.
They definitely profile low-income people, and that's normal. And I can understand some of it. The way
Oh, yeah,
people
I
drive
said I
around
wasn't-
in their lowriders, and the way they handle their music and have
I mean,
it up so loud.
I understand I understand the overall view. Okay, I know they have a job to do. They got a report. They have to follow it up. Okay, but we become a little bit too complacent with that because we let them break the law. We let them, because of that, oh, well, we'll just well, the law doesn't really need to apply in this case because of this and that. No, they were here because I posted something on on a spy network and somebody got butthurt, and that's the only reason they were here.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, I should go on Fedbook and go, well, I don't like that post. Let's call the police. Oh, well, I don't like that post. Let's call the police on that person. Well, I don't like that post.
That's exactly what's happening now.
Yes, and that's and it's illegal. But we we understand why they were here. It's like, no, my rights were violated. My rights are always violated when they come against me with no proof, no nothing other than somebody said, and they lied about it. So, oh well, don't worry about it. We'll go on our merry way. No, there are laws against this, and there are laws on the books that say I have a right. Other people...
You should be able to say, look, we should be able to say via the law whatever we want to say on Facebook unless it's sedition. Unless
right. I mean, I'm not talking about...
president or killing one of the senators or House of Representatives.
Or I raped this little girl and killed her, slit her throat, and hid her body in the backyard. Right. I could see that. But I say, well... Clinical studies say pedophilia is normal.
Everything you and I have said has been perfectly okay.
Yeah. No, we have a First Amendment, too. I mean, you're supposed to be able to say freedom of speech. I have no freedom of speech as press. I can't do my job half the time because, oh, well, he said this and he said that.
Look at Nambia.
Yeah, NAMBLA.
My God, are they getting the SWAT team out there? They're advocating for pedophilia. They're advocating finding a little boy to pet.
Yeah, men-boy love. Yeah.
They're advocating. They're a big organization all over the world.
Well, there you have it. They're a big organization. They have money, so therefore they don't get fucked with. I don't have any fucking money. Well, I'm prime, primed to be fucked with constantly because I have no money to take them to court. I have no money to afford a judge that I can buy. I have no money to do any goddamn thing. And the law doesn't state that, but that's the way it is.
I'm kind of glad this happened to us and we're getting to report on it. Maybe not first. I'm sure there's many, many others reporting on it that it's happened to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would have put it out last night, but like I said, I have a migraine and a half from the weather and stuff, and my computer isn't really working because I can't even see myself on this video. I see this part of my head, so I'm working.
We're still trying to get you a laptop.
Yeah, I'm working with nothing, and people are, well, you got to stop him. Why? Because I'm effective, because I'm getting it out there, because I am making a difference. We are making a difference. This radio station is making a difference. People are listening. Obviously, if they're reporting shit, they're watching us, they're following us, and,
they are.
It might not be the publicity we want and the recognition we want, but we're doing something. There is movement there, and I'm hoping to use this as a judo move to get the police off their ass so I can get to internal affairs and can get my evidence out there and get, people have less than what they've done to me happen to them, and they get $10 million, and they're, I have it, don't worry about it, your rights don't matter, you have to stand up for everybody else's rights. Well, if I have no rights...
Normally those are federal lawsuits.
Yeah. Well, I know people around here that have... The police looked at them wrong and they get settlements. But it's also the people... You look at the people that are doing it and, it's really kind of sketchy, the people that do this. But yeah, I wanted to tell everybody this is what's happening. Yeah, they will come to your house for a Fedbook post. Even as innocuous as, oh, I don't feel good today. I wish I could. Here they come. Oh, I didn't state that. Somebody.
Thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that are committing sedition on Facebook every day, and they're just, their time is short. The cops will be there.
Oh, yeah.
The cops will be there.
And I've been telling people this police state's coming. I live in a police state. That's pretty much proof, you know. Yeah, and then they told me, well, maybe you should watch what you say and how you say it. It's like, what?
Ah,
What?
Interesting.
Watch
Interesting.
how I say something and watch what I say. I said, now are we
Interesting.
doing thought police shit? You can't say certain things. You have to abide by the guidelines, and if you step out of it, you're in trouble. And that, well, that's not what we meant. It's like, that's what you said. You know, you told me I should watch how I say things and watch what I say. Well, if that's the case, a lot of shit isn't going to get out there, and a lot of the news stories won't get out because, and I told him, I said, sometimes you just have to say fuck. No other word works. Fuck. And if people don't like it, too fucking bad. It has to be said. There's still a First Amendment that states freedom of speech. So, but
Well, we're headed toward this, what is it called? Net neutrality?
yeah, the net neutrality, which is all censoring the internet, and yeah.
I heard they're bringing on a lot of other computers and a lot of other agents to go after people like you and me.
Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it. I'm sure I got a file in there, and they're watching, and they're, like I said, it just verifies them sitting outside my house and everything else, and that people say they don't do, but it's true. If I was thinking quicker, I would have had videotape of it, but I didn't feel like pissing them the fuck off.
No, you shouldn't have done that. That's good. I'm glad you didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have pissed them the fuck off, and it was like,
I'm surprised you didn't get in trouble for your fuck Israel, and I've done that too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, there was more stuff that I posted that was a hell of a lot more offensive and vile than pedophilia is normal. You know.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's what you're here for? Well, yeah, it is, because it's in the news with Pizzagate, with the pedophile rings and the Vatican, and it's like, oh, all anybody has to do is say you're a pedophile and they get the cops on you. Let's try it. He's a pedophile. Yeah, it works. It works. It doesn't even have to be true. Somebody can just say it, and the police are up your ass, and you have to prove your innocence. And basically, I had a trial interrogated in my front yard, and I had to prove to them that I was innocent. And when I started telling them, clinical studies that we were studying, and they were like, oh, we can see where this is going. It's like, yeah, somebody got butthurt about what I said. And that's all it amounted to. And that person needs to be looked into, whoever they are.
Don't you have a right to know who your accuser is?
Yes,
by law?
you should, yes. And I'm not allowed to ever know. I can't get... I'm going to find out if I can get the report, but I probably won't, because much like all the other reports that I don't have, I get numbers for them. I get a report number, but no report. Why is that? Police don't do their job. They don't do the report that they're supposed to do. And then they turn around and go, well, crime is down in the city. Yeah, well, if you don't do any of the fucking reports and put it into the machine, of course the algorithm's going down because there's no input.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make this little segment because it is important. And yeah, they did knock on the door, and I had two detectives interrogating me. But, like I said, it wasn't an interrogation like the CPS one, but it was a low-level interrogation, a stop and knock.
Were they plain clothes or uniform?
One was uniform, one was plain clothes.
Okay.
The female that was the main one was in uniform, and the male detective was plain clothes. And I didn't give him any lip. I told him the truth, and I told him, I said exactly what I said on the radio.
Were they very courteous to you?
Yes. Yeah, they weren't. it wasn't harassment in, well, we're going to tell you that, blah, blah, blah. It was harassment in they were here and for what they were here for.
Okay.
But they were very courteous and they, well, do you feel that we were harassing you? I said, in a way, yes. You are harassing me over a Fedbook post. You posted something on Facebook and somebody didn't like it. So yes, that is fucking harassment. I don't care what you say, especially with what was said. And I want to see what was said. I want to see the screen capture or whatever that we were talking about, so I can say, okay, well, now that I can read it, I can tell you what I said. Not seeing what I read, I don't remember, because I post so damn much on the thing. I don't remember every post.
I do too.
I don't remember every single post, but I kind of have a recollection, and I remember some people were being pissy about it on Fedbook, and it was probably one of those people that were being pissy that called them.
A few people called you and I pedophiles for posting those things.
Yeah, and they could have been some of the ones that called the police also. I mean, it's very possible.
Boy, this
I don't want to go into assumptions, and I don't want to be, paranoid and go, there was this person and that person. I do have a few enemies that would stoop that low, yes, and, but I'm not going to accuse anybody because I don't know. Now, if I had their name, I would definitely put their name out. But I don't think the police will give me that. They've never have. But I'm hoping to get a police report number and even the police report, which I am supposed to have by law, but I never get. I'm still waiting for a stack of them from Steve Drew, the Deputy Chief of Police, that said I could get everything and he would give them to me. And I call him up, he hangs up on me. He has police chasing me around the Coliseum and shit.
How long have you been working on getting records and things?
Since 2005.
Good Lord.
And in 2009, I posted the video. I spoke before City Council and was told I was allowed to have everything. And they gave me Steve Drew. And I go to Steve Drew and nothing gets done. And he's the one. And then I go to the Chief of Police. And it's a merry-go-round with these people. When I need something, you can't find them. But when nothing happens, they're up my butt trying to tell me I'm being bad. So it's like, yes, I will go to them, and because I did ask.
Makes you want to move to another state or something.
Yeah, it does. I'm getting sick of this front line bullshit.
Well, this has been a good segment, I think. Short segment.
Yeah, we'll just do it here. It kind of got out what we needed and informed the viewers and listeners what was going on. That yes, the police will come to your house over to the most innocuous thing that you post on Fedbook if somebody gets it up their ass to report you. And, is it right? No.
And if you say something more serious about hurting or killing someone, you will go to be interrogated down at the station.
Yeah, I was expecting them to take me down and interrogate me, but they didn't. I mean, I was fully ready to, you're coming with us. So, I mean, it happened to Brandon Robb. They just up and offed him and away for 3 days, and I'm expecting it, because of the way they operate.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that it's illegal.
Yeah, I know.
But, all right, yeah, I just wanted to touch base and get this short segment out there, and I'm going to work on an article about it and try to get it out tonight.
I'll see you on PM.
All right, mate. You take care.
Take care. Hang me up.